Alright, everybody, welcome to the Wild Wizards. I'm Terex, and I'm joined with Bubbles.
What's up?
Hey man, how are you doing?
I'm fine, man. I've been looking forward to this one. This is one of my favorite games. I love the aesthetics.
This is, of course, in case you don't know, guys, Heroes of Might and Magic 3. It's a very old game, but we're going to talk about the aesthetics today. Specifically, the aesthetics of the units, comparing the base units to the upgraded versions, and have a, just casual discussion about what they look like, what we think about them, maybe their placement in that faction overall, things like that.
Yeah, so it's gonna be mostly aesthetics, and we are unscripted, so we don't know how long this is gonna take or where it's gonna take us. But we're gonna discuss it now and see what happens. We could talk about the aesthetics outside in the game too. There's a lot of beautiful environments, but we're gonna keep it to each faction and the units for now.
Yeah, that could be another video though.
That could be another video.
Yep. So, you ready to dive in?
Yeah, let's do it.
Alrighty, starting off with the castle first. So we're starting with the castle faction first, and we're going to get into the units in a moment. But let's just like a few quick thoughts. What springs to mind when you look at the castle faction with everything upgraded?
I've always liked it. It's like it is pretty generic, and it's what you would expect most of it. But it's done so well, and it's like it's the humans, so they kind of get away with it. It's got that really imperial feel to it. I feel like.
I absolutely agree. I really do. I do want to point out that even if it's generic, it's still like it does look. How do I describe this? It's in a fantasy setting, so it has to be somewhat interesting to look at. But it's not overdone. It's not like overly crazy like some of the other buildings that we're going to get into later. I think they've hit like a pretty good level of just all of it just matching well together.
Yeah, it's pretty coherent design, and I liked it that the angels that they have the base in the sky. That's a nice touch.
I was actually amazed the first time I unlocked the building for the angels. I was like, okay, where the hell is it? Oh, it's up there! I was like, I was a little bit mind blown. I was very young when I was playing it, but it did look pretty cool.
Yeah. But
Alright.
let's take a look at the units.
Alright, let's do it. So these are obviously the upgraded units. So let's just separate them like one by one. Starting with the pikemen going into the halberdiers or halberdiers.
They're pretty much the same, though.
They are very generic, if we're being honest.
But again, like the base, it's generic. It's done well. It's like that's what you want from a basic unit. It's a pikeman, a basic pikeman.
That's the thing. He's a foot soldier. He protects his archers and the monks and whatnot. And that's it. He does, like you're not confused by his look as to what he is. You know exactly what he is, right? And that just works, in my opinion. Yeah. Do you have anything else?
Nah, great level 1 unit. It's what you want from it. It's like in chess, like the pawn.
I do like the idea that they actually inverse the colors on the upgrade. So you can see he has on the basic version, he has the blue crest, and the upgraded version, he has like a white crest instead.
I never thought about it like that.
The more you know.
Sure. Yeah.
All right. Do we move on?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So the archer. Now, obviously, if you've played the game, you know how strong the archer becomes after you upgrade him. He's like a mandatory upgrade. But in terms of just visual style, what do you think about the marksman becoming?
I think it's funny in the upgrade he doesn't have a face anymore. It's like a blank face. It's like just skin all over his face.
It's just a lack of detail. You gotta imagine the face, man.
Yeah, sure. But again, it's pretty much as the pikeman. It's a good basic design. I like it. I like it a lot.
Would you say, in your honest opinion, that the archer and the pikeman kinda overlap in overall appearance. So if they're standing next to each other, would you always know which is which?
Yeah, kinda. I've never gotten confused in a game, I'd say.
I don't think I have either. But that is a point for a future video about some of the newer Heroes games. Anyway.
Yeah. Now the Griffin, that's an interesting choice for humans, but again, it's a great choice.
So the Griffin is lore-wise there. It's there because of lore reasons, right? I honestly can't remember the exact reasons, but it has something to do with the whole country and like the whole state of the humans and whatnot.
But even lore aside, it's like if you're gonna pick a creature that can fly to be allied with the humans, it's just a Griffin as it's a good choice.
It's a majestic creature. It does look awesome, and you don't actually see it all that often in games anymore.
No, exactly.
I can't remember the last time I saw a Griffin. I mean, let's see. You don't see it in the Elder Scrolls games, as far as I remember.
No.
You do see it in World of Warcraft. It's the basic mounts that you can fly around with. But yeah,
World of Warcraft is kind of old school, also.
You're right. But I mean, there's still like a decent age discrepancy between World of Warcraft and Heroes 3.
Yeah, but I feel like Griffins is kind of old school nowadays.
Maybe it is. Anyway, about the Griffin specifically, it goes from more or less being a bird to getting this more royal look to it with like a silver wing and chest and face area. What do you think about that?
I don't know. It definitely looks better when it's upgraded.
It's far more imposing, isn't it?
Yeah. But it's like the humans. Most of the units, again, it's what you would expect. It's a kind of generic choice, but it's so well done.
I mean, it's the basic one isn't outstanding. It looks like a regular creature could look, right? But the other one, I mean, it is quite what do we call it? Like it takes the attention, right? It's a large creature. It has a very bright color scheme, at least for the top half. Like that's the interesting part of it. So it immediately catches your attention, and maybe that's on purpose. It probably is.
Yeah, probably. But again, it's a good unit. But when we look at the next one, that's it's not as out there. Again, very generic. But because if you have played with this guy, you're gonna like the design just because you know how powerful he is.
The thing is, it's not even just the power, right? Like this is one of my personal favorites. Okay. And I'll admit to that. The thing is, the base design is fine. It's just a soldier. Maybe he's a bit undergeared for what he's actually doing. But then the upgraded version, not only does he look amazing, not only is he super powerful, but then when you listen to him walk up to an enemy with the heavy like clink, 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 damn, and just hammer somebody down.
It feels so good each hit, and he hits once, and you think, "Oh, that's so much damage," and then he hits again, and you just feel the impact.
This guy has like more or less single-handedly saved me in some of my games. He's just amazing.
But it's kind of like he has the color scheme from the level 1 and 2 units, and then in the upgrade he goes to something else.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely has this whole gold and white. Oh, there's a little bit of blue left, but like, he does have this very. I don't know if I want to say royal look. I mean, there's definitely some royal styling over it,
but also there's just the color scheme.
Yeah, but I mean, it just looks like he has like this big ass expensive armor on. It's not overdone. It's not like Dark Souls, huge armor. Like it's still something you could feasibly move in. But it looks very imposing compared to, his previous armor, where he has like what is essentially a shirt and a helmet and a sword.
Yeah. Let's do the monk one.
The monk one.
I feel like we're gonna repeat ourselves a lot with a lot of these again, because Yeah, it's just a great choice. It's like you could have chosen many different units for this one, but a monk, it's an interesting choice, and it feels like it makes sense in the big picture.
When you consider monasteries in like time periods like these, they did have some power back then, right? Be like the whole church thing,
but not magical power.
Not magical power, no. But they did have some semblance of authority and whatnot. And this isn't a bad. It's not a bad way of representing it. My one, maybe not complaint, because it like the upgrade looks great, but it's not a look I've ever seen on a monk before, right? Or a zealot for that matter. I mean, first of all, his face glows, so maybe that's why he's wearing a hoodie, so he's not like a radiant entity or whatever.
Walking lamppost.
Exactly. I mean, this guy cannot perform sneak attacks, right? He cannot sneak up on somebody.
Yeah. But I don't know. It's I don't think about the logic behind the shining face, but I like it makes him look more magical.
Would you agree that the blue colors he has are probably, overall derived from, the strong blue colors in the remaining of the remainder of the army? Like this is a faction thing, right?
There's definitely a blue thing going on with the humans. They like blue.
All right. So this next one.
Yeah, now we're getting into some serious shit.
So
this is another beast.
This is a beast, definitely. Well, a man beast, I suppose. Obviously, again, as we've been saying, a generic base, an awesome-looking upgrade, right? Because his base is, it's not lacking detail. It still has like the lance itself has that double color scheme with the whatever you call that. The horse is the horse is detailed, and the rider itself is like a basic full plate rider. But then you go to the upgrade and you have those horse. What do you even call those? The things that are connected to the mouth.
It's horse armor. It came as a DLC to Heroes 3.
But it works. This one actually increases his stats, right? So
So it's worth your money.
It was definitely worth your money. But I mean, he just looks very good. Again, with the blue and white, overall color scheme. He does have a little bit of gold, or at least yellow, with the hair. Overall, it's a good upgrade in terms of visual changes, but it's not their best look. I don't think so.
Yeah, it's definitely less like it is good, but it feels more generic than the other ones.
Yeah. But what I like so far, if you obviously don't count the Griffin, like in terms of just humans in a fantasy setting, if you count those 5 units, you have more or less everything. Like the only thing you'd be missing would be like arbalasts or trebuchets or things like that, right? Like siege engines. Bless you. But like you have your entire infantry and your archers, you have like your specialized units, you have your cavalry, and then whatever the monks are, right?
Yeah.
So you're only missing one thing now, right?
The godly powers.
The godly powers. But
in the beginning, it looks kind of like a women's nightgown. But then he gets super badass in the upgrade.
I didn't like the base form of the angel. I'm gonna be honest. It's still somewhat powerful looking, just because you know what it is.
Yeah, but it doesn't look very intimidating.
No, it's not intimidating. It's not even he doesn't look that powerful. Like, okay, he can maybe kill a ghost dragon or something like that. And
if you remove the sword and his wings, he looks like an old woman.
I mean, maybe not an old woman, but I mean, he does, because he's still a muscular person. Like, he's not frail.
But he's not like jacked either.
No. Well, I don't know. I mean, have you looked at those arms?
Yeah, But I feel like also it's cool, kind of cool, because it's like they're more inspired by religious angels, the original ones, than they are from the fantasy ones in the first one.
I don't actually remember what they look like in the first one.
No, I mean without the upgrade.
Okay.
It's like the yeah, again it's kind of more historic angels instead of instead of fantasy.
The thing is, I actually think I might be wrong here, guys, I don't know, but I think that is supposed to be Michael's sword that he's carrying, like the Archangel himself. But I could be wrong. It's like a biblical thing and whatnot, so...
Yeah, that's what I feel like it looks like too.
Yeah. But I mean, he's definitely powerful. He's among the strongest level 7 units you can have. He doesn't...
And the upgrade looks great.
The upgrade? No, I'm talking about the upgrade, not the basic version here. The upgrade is just... He's not the most imposing level 7 unit you can have, just visually speaking. But he does actually bring a sense of morale to your entire group. Like, you just feel so much better knowing that you can resurrect your teammates with him and whatnot. And his color scheme, it looks pretty good overall. I do like the blackened armor with the gold rims and whatnot. It does look pretty good, but
he's becoming sort of iconic to the game too.
Yeah, I think you're right.
But yeah, let's say humans. That's definitely not a lot of complaints. It's a good selection and good design choices. Pretty much all around.
If you had to change one thing, what would you change?
If I had to change one unit or just one thing about a unit?
Either or, it's up to you.
The only thing that kind of sticks out is the Griffin, but I wouldn't change it. It's the only one that's like not as much in the same thread as the rest.
All right.
How about you?
I think I would change the monk.
The monk?
Yeah.
More cleric or what?
That might actually make more sense, yeah, because it's like everyone else has some sort of weaponry, right? Like weapons that you.
Not the Griffin.
No, well, the Griffin has claws. It's a weapon.
Yeah.
But he's the one that sticks out, and I know he's supposed to be a magic user and whatnot, and that's the thing. But
yeah, it would be weird if they gave him an axe.
Yeah, it wouldn't have worked out. But I mean, it's a minor complaint. It's less than a nitpick, right? Because I do like the monk. Anyway.
Yeah.
Do we move on?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, guys. Moving on to ramparts. The elves.
People of nature.
The people of nature, exactly.
They got a kind of now. If you look in they got kind of what's it called, like Oriental look.
They do. It's actually a thought I've always had. Like, it's very. I was about to say Middle East. It's very.
Oriental.
Well, yeah, Oriental. There's no other word for that. God damn
Chinese.
Chinese, Asian, something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know where the inspiration has been taken from. I'm not I don't know enough about Asian history to pinpoint it. But if you took some of these assets and placed them in Age of Empires when you're playing as the Chinese, for example, would you honestly be able to tell the difference?
Yeah, the magic tower could definitely be
exactly right. Like even the whole bamboo thing here, like that's something I've definitely seen in anything from anime to I think even some Japanese games.
Yeah, there's definitely an association there. But also, yeah, it's the nature crossed with Asian. And you get the Heroes 3 Chinese.
the Heroes 3 Chinese characters.
Yeah.
Alright, so let's see here. we're starting with the Centaurs, or Centaurs, however you want to pronounce that. Personally, I actually think I like the original, like the basic one better. The white one looks like the upgraded one looks a bit more old, and that there's a certain level of knowledge and wisdom to that. But centaurs, historically speaking, at least like in mythology and whatnot, haven't been known for their they haven't been known for their incredible intelligence, as far as I know. They're mostly just high endurance, quite powerful, either archers or warriors.
In Harry Potter, they can predict the future.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't remember that.
But I feel like also compared to the humans, it feels like a powerful creature to put at level 1. Like they could have gone with a more basic, like it's a big creature.
They could have swapped them out for the dwarves.
Yeah.
As an example, I know we're going to get to the dwarves in a minute, but personally, I think I do agree with you. I think I would have done that actually, because they have superior speed, and I think they do have. Okay, they do have slightly less damage, but that's because
they have a decent damage.
But the thing
again,
is,
also, what do you say?
It would make more sense to have them as a level 2 unit anyway, because you just they are a strong force of the rampart lineup, right? Like you generally use them for assaulting the enemy archers, and you can it's not that it doesn't matter, but you can risk losing some centaurs because you're getting an advantage out of it anyway, and they're tanky enough to take some hits and whatnot.
Yeah, it's a good level 1 unit.
But I think we're getting a bit too much into the combat aspects of the unit.
But also, you talk about dwarves before. It's funny to see a dwarf on the same team as a centaur.
Well, it's even more funny to see a dwarf with an elf, right?
Yeah, true. It's not what you would expect nowadays to see on a faction.
No, I don't think you would. This is.
It is a little random.
It is somewhat random. Yeah, I'll definitely agree to that part, because the if you just take the first 3 units, the Centaur, the Dwarf, and the Elf, they don't have much in common. I can't remember where centaurs, from a mythology point of view, reside. I think they reside near forest ruins and stuff like that. Dwarves are in mountains, and then elves are, overall forest areas, but not necessarily ruins. I can see the connection from from a nature perspective, but overall, I don't necessarily agree with it.
Nah, the dwarves also are actually like the non-upgraded version better. I feel like I don't know, it's more a dwarf. It's like they just had to, how do we make him more? We make him metal instead.
Personally, I do like the upgrade, but I do think it looks a little bit cartoonish. Not in a bad way, but it does remind me a little bit of like Asterix and Obelix or something like that. If people know that reference, I assume people do.
Yeah, probably.
But overall, not that interesting of a creature. Anything you want to say?
Yeah. It's not the most interesting design, and it's kind of random when you look at the big picture that we have the dwarves on this faction.
Right. All right. Moving on. So the elves, obviously the same as with the marksman and the archer at the castle faction. These guys do the whole double shot when they're upgraded and whatnot, so they're also powerhouses. What do you think about the design where they're going from this, almost Robin Hood-esque archer to a, more elegant, more, warrior-looking archer?
I feel like it's pretty good, but it's not as on the humans. They kind of do the same thing. It's just a more a guy with more metal and stuff, and it works on both, but I feel like it worked better on the humans. On this one, it is better upgraded, but it's not. I'm not that much into the design of the elves. I feel there was the other ones you could upgrade them to after this one, the third upgrade.
Oh, the sharpshooters. Yeah. I remember.
Yeah, I feel like if they had made them to the instead of these elves, that would have looked much better.
Actually, I think I would agree with you. If you just removed the upgraded the Grand Elves and just placed the sharpshooter with the Grand Elf stats, because the sharpshooter was completely overpowered for its level.
Yeah, but he could have the same stats as this one then.
Yeah. I think that would look much better, because then you actually go from a Robin Hood look to an even better Robin Hood look.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I suppose more like a kind of rogue look kind of thing, but it would look cool anyway. Or it does look cool anyway. There's a point to be made about the whole gold fascination this faction has, and I'm gonna get into that when, like, at the end of this part, because I'll just save it for then. So let's move on. So the Pegasy and the Silver Pegasy. Any thoughts?
They have 3 horse units. This is the second one. It's to be honest, I don't like it. It's just the horse is fine, but I feel like the woman riding it is just looking really goofy and uninteresting.
I mean,
I don't know how you feel about that.
The basic one is almost a naked woman with a sword and a horse that has nothing, not even a saddle as far as I can tell. And then the upgraded one is like complete upgrade, but the woman is still fairly unprotected. I guess it makes sense. You can't be too heavy on a horse that's supposed to carry you. Maybe that was the logic. Maybe it just didn't look good at the time because they have limited. There was a limit to how much they could actually paint and draw on a sprite in order to still make it readable to actually watch, in animation and whatnot.
But I feel like this weapon she's wielding is pretty cool, the sword, and the horse is also okay, but the human or elf or whatever it is on the horse is just not done very good. Maybe if they had given some armor or something, it would have helped.
Maybe some glitter. As they move around, they're just like glittering all over the place. I don't know, but I do agree with you.
But I like the choice that they have a Pegasus again. Not that it's I wouldn't think of elves and Pegasus normally, but I feel like they make it work.
I do agree with you. I don't think it actually makes sense. But I mean, I like it, and that might be a nostalgia thing. I don't know, but it doesn't make sense. Like these units just.
But again, like the dwarf didn't make sense either. But that was more random. This feels like more. It fits into the team, even though it's also kind of random.
Fair enough. All right, moving on.
Now we're talking elves.
Yeah. So, in terms of upgrades, I think this one has one of the best visual upgrades in the entire game.
Big difference.
It's a huge difference. You can. Honestly, I don't know what they thought. I mean, at the very least, they could have added like leaves on top of its head or something like that. I honestly can't even see the difference.
I feel like there was once they looked most different. Also, these are like exactly the same, aren't they?
It has the upgrade one has like claws or roots at the end of its feet, and that's about it. It might be a slightly darker tone, and that's about. I don't know what they did here. Like it's just. I get
it. It's pretty lazy.
It's a dendroid soldier, as they're calling it. It's basically a tree ant or a tree soldier.
And I don't like it. I feel like they should have done it like I don't know what they're called, but the ones that's in like Lord of the Rings, the trees there, or in Warcraft 3, the elf buildings and like that.
Yeah, those are
like this just looks like a pile of like. Logs that's been cut down and put together to look like a.
It's a scarecrow. It's a scarecrow. Okay.
It doesn't look like a tree.
No, it doesn't. It's it's not interesting. In some ways, I do think like this look over here actually looks even better than they do. Like their actual building, and that's a bit of a shame.
They look like trees.
At the very least, they look like trees. This is not a good one. Anyway.
Yeah, but I like it's fine as far as like how it fits into the whole team. I think it's pretty fine.
I mean,
you should just have designed it better.
You can't get very much more nature than a tree, right? Like it's the epitome of nature in a lot of ways. But yeah, I don't agree with this.
I like these unicorns. Before you upgrade them, their building that you can't see it. It's just like the outline of the trees.
Okay, I don't actually remember that.
If you go out in the buildings, you can't see it now because it's upgraded. But like those two, you can't see the building. It's just the trees that suddenly gets unicorns.
I mean, I think I would have liked it if they made the horn smaller on the base form and then larger on the upgrade. Because the upgraded one definitely looks a little bit better overall, or at least a little bit more. It does have a somewhat majestic look, but it's still very barren to look at. Like, it has a horn, it has some golden hair, and then otherwise it's one of those white Pegasuses without wings, right?
Yeah, it's nothing special to write home about, but it gets the job done.
I mean, it's a powerful creature, don't get me wrong.
But as far as aesthetics.
But even as aesthetics, it gets the job done, but just barely. Like, it's not a memorable creature in terms of appearance and whatnot.
No, it's a pretty standard unicorn.
Well, as standard as fantasy unicorns can be.
Yeah.
Alright. You got thoughts?
Well, yeah, it's a dragon. It's all right. It's all right. I like the design. It's like, again, it's kind of an old school dragon look, and I like that. But
I do prefer
from green to yellow. It's not that interesting upgrade.
Well, it's a gold color, to be fair. So in a way that makes a bit more sense, and it actually does tie in very well with the thing I wanted to talk about at the end, which I'll get to in a second. But I mean, as you're saying, it's a dragon. It's fairly generic for fantasy games, even at it, back in this in the game's time. But it does look pretty good. It's I feel like they did it well, even though it's generic.
Yeah, I like this kind of look for a dragon, but I feel like it's kind of random on the elves too. Elves, I don't see them working a lot with dragons.
No, not even close. And it's not just the elves. I don't see even Pegasus or unicorns working with dragons.
Because... just call the whole faction the elves.
Oh yeah, okay. Because if you consider D&D lore, for example, Dungeons and Dragons, I think gold dragons, I think they are one of the ones that are actually, like good-hearted, like non-evil dragons. But then most other dragons are evil, and green dragons are definitely evil in D&D. So if it has taken any inspiration from D&D, it would be a weird upgrade path to make an evil dragon a good dragon.
Yeah, but it would make even less sense if they made a good dragon evil.
Nah, man, it's a redemption arc. Come on.
But I think that's it for the elves. Oh, you had a point about the gold.
I did have a point. Yeah. So consider for a sec how most of these units are being upgraded into gold in some way, shape, or form, right? I mean, okay, the dwarves, not really. They do have a little bit of yellowish coloring, but not actually gold. The Kentaur has this whole white look, which is a bit more silvery, but he does have like a gold crown or something like that on his head.
And the weapon.
Is it gold? It's like a mixture. It's a mixture.
It's metallic.
Yeah. And then you have like the basic elves going into like a full-on metal armor, or well, it might be darkened leather, but it looks like a.
Yeah, we get it. They get gold.
They get gold, exactly. If you consider this nature look. Like, what is gold worth for nature, right? Like, nature, or if you look at druids or something like that, they don't necessarily have any inherent. They don't look at any inherent values of what gold has, right? It's not a currency for them. It's not a valuable piece of metal or anything. They don't necessarily use it. So why are they being clad in it, or just having this golden look to them? The dragon I can understand, dragons being dragons and they like to hoard gold and whatnot. But the rest of the team, I don't see it.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know. If they don't use it for currency, they can use it for other things.
I suppose. Yeah, no, you might be right. They're just looking, oh, this is pretty, and this is from nature, so I'm gonna wear it.
Yeah, they are nature, so they have natural resources and stuff. I don't know. I don't. To be honest, I don't think they like had a reason for doing it when they designed the creatures.
No, probably not. But it does look good on most of them.
Yeah. But I feel like it's a good faction, but it's a lot less coherent than the humans. The humans were better done.
I agree. I mean,
even though I like them, it is a good faction. It's not like I would say anything bad about the game because of this. It's a fine faction, but it's not as perfect.
Yeah, keep in mind this is just us being nitpicky. The game is still a pretty awesome game. It has its flaws and whatnot, but that's not what this discussion is for today. And the overall faction still looks good. It's just we're just nitpicking for the sake of it, really.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. This one should be a bit interesting. So this is the tower faction.
Let's build buildings first.
All right, you want to do the buildings? All right.
Yeah. I like all the towns. I like looking at the town. It's again, it's like a painting. It's like I can look at it and it's much more pleasing than if it had been done with 3D models, I feel like.
Well, there's a point to be made there when we, at some point in the future, might. It depends on if people want to hear about it, of course, but we might do a comparison to more modern Heroes games.
Yeah. I feel like the ones in Heroes 3 anyway. They're just so good looking. Like we've talked about before, like the Holy Grail. It's a flying ship. They could have done so many things. They could have made a giant Titan in the background or something epic, but instead they do this mechanical ship in the air, kind of Zeppelin hybrid thing. It's just such an interesting choice, considering what they could have done.
When you consider that this is not the human faction, it's very, very like it's an intelligent faction. They have access to extra libraries and magic spells. They have like all of this, gears and whatnot working, and they have a fucking flying ship and whatnot. Like, they're not, these are not just orcs and barbarians and titans and whatnot. They are actually intelligent. Like, it's not just uncivilized.
They're almost industrial.
Yeah, close enough.
And they have a lot of magic and intelligence and stuff. They are supposed to be like an intelligent faction.
I definitely agree with you. You can kind of see it in some of the. I'll get to it in a sec. Let's just start with the gremlins.
Yeah, they are. I like them. Again, to be honest, I don't really understand the faction. Like, they're not elves, they're not humans, they're not orcs. I don't know what they are. They are some creatures living together in a snow town, but somehow they get it to work together anyway. I like the gremlins. I don't know why they're there, but I like them.
I mean, to be fair, gremlins, you don't actually see them in games all that often. I don't think I can remember the last time I saw like gremlins in any game. Not The Witcher, not Diablo, not World of Warcraft, not anything. So it's underrepresented, which just makes it more interesting once you spot it. One thing I do want to talk about here is that well, it's not even really a flail. It looks more like a bowling ball with a chain. Would you give a weapon like that to a gremlin? Now I don't know how strong a gremlin is in terms of like physical strength, but it's a relatively heavy weapon for a relatively small creature.
Yeah, I feel like maybe they've chosen it because then they can make it an ranged unit in the upgrade. Because I feel like it would also be weird to give it a bow and arrow.
Well, you could have given it a spear. It doesn't need to be a pike, just a spear, like a javelin or something like that.
Then they could throw it, or
like for the upgrade one.
They could have done that, but I must say I'm happy they didn't. I like this better. Again, it's just a less. It's not as generic as a spear.
All right.
I feel like a spear would have been more like a boring choice. This is more interesting.
All right. So speaking in terms of colors and whatnot, personally I really like the upgraded Gremlins look. I don't think it necessarily fits with anything I don't know much about Gremlins, but the little bit that I do know, I don't think it matches at all. I think it's a terrible look for a Gremlin, but I do like it specifically, like just taken out of context.
Like if you removed his weapon in the upgrade, he could look like a wizard.
Yeah, green wizard.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
But it's a pretty good unit. I like it.
All right. So the gargoyles
doesn't get much more generic. But again, it's well done. It's an obvious interpretation of a gargoyle, but it's well done.
I mean, the thing is, the gargoyle, at least the basic one, doesn't look that much like it's made out of stone. I mean, it's gray, it has the color and everything, but it looks alive, right?
Well, it is alive.
Well, is it, technically speaking?
It's moving.
Yeah, well, you can kick a ball and then it's moving. You know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't necessarily feel like it's made out of stone. It feels like it's a bat. It's like an overgrown bat.
Yeah, to be honest, I didn't even consider if it looked like stone. I just looked at it as a normal creature. But yeah.
But that's the thing that gargoyles are, right? Like
yeah, true. And when you kill it, it turns to a statue and crumbles.
Exactly. But it doesn't.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it might have been like a deliberate choice. I can't say. I didn't work there. But I think I would have preferred a bit more of a stoic, more stiff look to it. If I'm being honest.
Yeah, but I don't know if when they come alive, I don't think they have to be stiff anymore.
Maybe not. Maybe it's one of those things where they're in stone form when they're hibernating. And then once they wake up, as you say, they just become alive. Like they actually magically, activate.
Yeah, I think so. It's not a golem, I think, but not much to say about these. It's
just a palette
average
swap. Yeah,
average gargoyle.
It's an average gargoyle. Poor guys. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like the golems that much.
I mean,
the upgrade is fine, but the first one just looks like a dude with little clothes on. I
would have preferred if they had gone with the more. I think this is a more modern look on golems, but I'm not sure. But the more bulky, large, almost roundish golem. Maybe even think back to Diablo 2, right? It's still a clay golem, but it's it's kind of round in its shape.
It's too humanoid in some ways.
It's very humanoid. Like that looks like an athlete just taking a stroll somewhere, and the other one a dude in armor. I would have preferred a more dreaded look to it, like some metal piercings and spikes and whatnot in the upgrade or something like that.
But like you say, the shape, that it was more like, have you played the chess game? You back in the days when you move the piece, they have an animation. They go, and when you take another, they turn into an animation where they fight.
I think I recall something like that. Yeah.
Ah, okay. It doesn't matter. Then it's just the towers in that one. That's how I like my golems. Sounded like what you were talking about. But yeah, it's true humanoid. We can agree. Not a great units.
No, and it's not even. I mean, it has its special perk in terms of combat efficiency and whatnot, but it's not a very often used unit. But we can save that for another day.
Yeah.
Alright, so this guy. Obviously, it's a very generic, maybe even a very young apprentice mage. Like, he's just called a Magi or Maggie at first.
I just think about him like a wizard.
Yeah, I mean he is obviously.
But he's cool. He's all right.
He is what he's trying to be, right? I mean, he does look cool. The initial basic version is a bit bland. It's literally just a human in a robe. The other one does look pretty powerful, pretty knowledgeable.
But that's kind of the thing about a lot of the units in this game. They do a lot of very traditional, not particularly interesting, but somehow they make it work and make it look very compelling anyways. I feel like that's the case here too. Yeah.
I don't think I have anything else to say though. I do agree with you. I just don't have much to say. It's a wizard. You've seen it before.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Not much more to say.
All right. Genies.
Again, a very weird choice for this faction, giving them genies.
If you consider the whole magic aspect, like, you know,
I guess
it makes more sense. But I guess that you're not thinking, like, if you think about it like gremlins, golems, genies, no, it doesn't make sense. But if you think like, you know, this is a university of arcane mysteries and whatnot, a genie does make sense.
Yeah, true. I guess that's true. It's generally a weird combination of creatures on this one. But they're cool design. I like the design of the genies, especially the upgraded ones. But both.
He doesn't change that much. I'm also not sure why he loses his ponytail in the upgrade. I like.
He gets a hat instead.
He gets a hat instead. Yeah. But the thing is, I really like the ponytail on the basic version. It gives him like it rounds out the full image or like the full character, right? Because if you just remove that, he would just be a bald thing, whatever he is, spirit or creature or genie, yeah.
He kind of blends into the background a little, I feel like, before he's upgraded.
He does, yeah, he does. I mean, he's not invisible, but he's not, you know, look at me.
But I like it, like, there's a lot of ways you could have done a genie, but I think this is a good way to do a genie if you're gonna do a genie.
I think this is one of my favorite ways of doing it. He's not overdone. He's not, you know, just taking, you know, the entire screen, like the all of the attention away or anything. He has a fairly simple look, and it's not bad looking at all. It's quite alright.
Yeah. So if we look at the Titan, though...
Not yet, mate. Not yet.
Oh, yeah, we're not there yet. Naga.
You're forgetting this one lady here, the Naga Queen.
Yes.
So quick question.
Yeah?
Aside from World of Warcraft, where do you actually see Nagas? And obviously heroes.
Yeah, not a lot of places.
Right? So
they're kind of like Medusas, but not...
You do occasionally meet Medusas, but Nagas are like almost never seen in any games I can just like think at the top of my head. And I think that's a shame because they are actually pretty cool looking. And like, you know, they're partial snakes, partial warriors, you know, they have this whole... I'm not going to call it community, I don't think that's what it is. It's more like a family, you know, nesting kind of thing, and sometimes you have interesting lore connected to them. Like, you can do a lot with Nagas, I believe.
But yeah, again, I don't know what they're doing on this team, but they're pretty good looking, especially the upgraded ones.
I mean, the original one is quite basic. It's obviously they need the extra set of hands.
I feel like the red color on the tail that does a lot for the look on the upgraded one.
Yeah. It does actually have 6 arms instead of 4. Oh wait, no. Oh no. The last set of arms are just hard to see on the basic one. That's a bit of a shame. Like it's underutilizing its own arms. Like it has 6 arms, but it's only carrying 2 swords, right?
Yeah, that's why you gotta get the upgrade.
It's just being blinged out.
The Titans, that's some of the worst design in the entire game, I feel like.
It's among the worst, yeah, I'll agree. I mean, it's a cool looking creature, or like, you know, the lore behind it and the in-game, you know, value it has, it's amazing. But the look is disappointing, because it's basically a humanoid with a really cool sword. And then a humanoid in gold armor with still a really cool sword. And
yeah, I like that it is a Titan on this team. I think it's a great idea. But yeah, because it has to be the same size as all the other creatures, it just doesn't feel like a Titan.
No, I definitely agree with you. It feels underwhelming to look at. Like, even a small thing, like just looking at it, you know, like if you consider the building behind it, it has the same perspective range as the other images have. And it doesn't, like, it looks like it's actually human-sized, right?
Yeah. Also on the battlefield.
Also on the battlefield. And I feel like they could have done something like just shrunk the entire citadel behind it to like a tiny size, just to represent it further.
I think that would have been a nice touch.
It would have been a small thing, and I don't think most people would have noticed, but I think it would be like just that extra amount of coolness to it.
But yeah, I don't know. It's as a whole, I feel like the team is pretty cool. But when you go down to it and look at each creature individually, it's kind of random. A lot of this faction.
Yeah, they don't have the same coherency as the human faction does, and not even to the same extent as the Rampart faction has.
No, but somehow they make it kind of work anyway.
If I had to guess, I can see where gremlins and gargoyles, like how
also the wizards, pretty much
and the
everything except the golems. Maybe the Nagas is kind of weird too.
I mean, you wouldn't be able to fit a Titan in a tower anyway, so it's a bit hit and miss.
But again, up in the snowy mountains or snow, and I feel like that's all right then.
And if you consider that Nagas are, you know, half snake people, wouldn't they be cold-blooded? What are they doing in snow? Like, it's
and Nagas usually is like water creatures.
Yeah, but I mean, I think they're in like more temperate waters. I don't think they're in necessarily cold waters.
Exactly.
Anyway, I think that's
about it.
Yeah. So, the demons, the devils, the
people down under,
the people down under, the Australians. No, I'm sorry to all of our Australian fans, as many as we have, you know.
It's not their fault.
It's not their fault, no. They've been banished by the angels.
It's again, it's what you would expect from demons, but nearly done to perfection.
This is one of the best looking cities, or, you know, like towns, in my opinion. It has a very ominous look, but it's still also like very, very good looking at the same time.
Yeah, it's just very enticing.
And that's what, you know, the whole devil bargain is there for. Like, it's supposed to entice you.
Yeah.
It's like almost trying to allure you.
Like the devil level 6 unit, he does the teasing thing.
Yeah, the taunt. Yeah,
the taunt.
I think that's great. That is so good. Like, it gives him a sense of personality without actually giving him any personality, and it's just so good.
It's such a great choice. Whoever came up with that idea for the animation is a genius.
He is a fucking genius. Alright, so familiars, imps, what do we got?
I love the imps. I think they're so great because they're trying to be evil, but they're just cute instead.
That's the thing, right? Like,
and usually I wouldn't like. Usually I hate cute in games, but I love it on these.
The thing is, it's a perfect choice for a level 1 unit. They're not. I mean, they are technically speaking demons, but most people, well, not people, but like most somewhat seasoned warriors in a fantasy setting would be able to deal with something like this. Like, just a few cuts and then they're probably down. Maybe, like, a few of them would overwhelm you, and that's why they have the numbers advantage and whatnot. But they're not threatening, like, in their look or anything. They're tiny and they're, relatively weak compared to so many other things. But they still manage to have that, like, somewhat demonic look.
Yeah, and they have I feel like it's small, but it has the humor that they're trying to be intimidating, but they're so clearly not.
Yeah.
Great level 1, yes.
Color palette going from yellow to red, I think that's pretty fitting. Maybe a bit bland,
but kind of lazy.
Yeah, but it's good enough. Either way, it's not much of an upgrade, but yeah, whatever. This guy. The suicide guy. Oh, are those your teammates? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just gonna burn all of them. You hate being against him. You hate having him on your team. Like, what do you do with this guy?
Yeah, you just don't want him in your match.
So I'm gonna say... Yeah, go ahead.
What you gonna say?
Okay, I'm gonna say something that might be a little bit controversial here. I think the basic version of this one looks like a monkey with a fireball in his hand.
yeah, kinda.
I've always seen him like that, and I don't know why. It just... I don't know.
He's alright. He's definitely better looking in the upgrade.
Oh yeah, he's much better looking in the upgrade.
But still, he's a little too humanoid. He's too much like just a human that has a little different texture.
To be fair, this is a devil or a demon. Call it what you want. This is the Inferno town, so it's not that bad. I mean, it's okay that they're a little bit humanoid.
But like if you look at the demons, they're much more like they're still demons, but they're like is it demons they're called? The ones the pit lords can resurrect. Yeah, demons.
Yeah.
Like they're still humanoid, but they gave them that extra creature look.
Yeah. We'll get to that, don't worry, guys.
Yeah, let's do it.
But first, the Cerebi, the Hellhounds.
Yeah, great choice.
Personally, like lore-wise, this is from anything, from just regular games to the Supernatural series or whatever. Great creature, very iconic. Even, Hercules and whatnot has been up against this thing. It looks amazing. The 3 heads, the spikes. It's a bit simple overall, but it does look amazing.
Yeah, it's like a lot of the units. Again, it's the kind of generic choice, but it's very well done. It's just like it's a Hellhound and what you would expect from it, but it's just like that's also what you want.
I think the one thing missing would be, like some sort of drooling or like some what do you call that stuff in the mouth? Like just
drooling.
Yeah, so some drooling, just
Yeah, that could have been a good touch, but it's still pretty good. It's still pretty well done. But
then again, if you drool with like 3 heads, would you just dehydrate? Would that happen?
Yeah, I guess you can drink with 3 too.
I suppose. Food for thought, guys. All right, demons.
Yeah, I like them. It's not amazing, but it's a good demon.
It's a good demon. Is it though? Is it really a good demon?
It's a good boy.
It's a good boy. All right. So
what do you think?
I mean, I do think the simple one is very simplistic looking. It's No, you know what? No, I'm gonna take that back. I do like the design. I think it's cool that they're taking that whole goat aspect of certain demon interpretations.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Yeah, like the satyr look and whatnot. I think that's cool. I think it's interesting they're pairing it up with what looks like a pig with, horns and whatnot. It looks pretty cool. Like it's a very, it's not a look you're used to seeing, and I don't know if it's the quality of of the game's drawing back then, or if it's just like the semi I don't want to call it uncanny valley, but it does have like a humanoid look to it that it almost not.
But that's what I was talking about with the level 2 unit. I like that this one it's humanoid, but they're still taking it a step further, so it's more creature-like than human.
Yeah, but I mean the upgrade definitely looks amazing. Like that one is. I remember when I was playing the Inferno like many years ago and whatnot. I was looking forward to upgrading them, not because they were that much stronger, but they just looked so much better.
Also, they feel pretty good when they hit.
Yeah, they do. The skull bash thing that they do.
Yeah. You feel like there's an impact. But let's do the pit lords.
The pit lords and pit fiends. All right. So. I've always had a problem with the first one. He has this, very, white guy skin look. I don't know what I don't know what to call it. It just doesn't look that interesting. Like this is a level 5 unit, right? I would expect more. At the same time, you could say the Dendroids and the monks haven't been, that much better looking. But this guy is obviously a demon, but he just looks like a dude with, horns and a whip.
But I like the idea that this is a guy with a whip because it's in hell.
Yeah, I suppose.
I like the devil is teasing you with his finger that there's a guy with a whip. I feel like that's a good hell aesthetic.
Yeah, I mean, it is. I think one cool touch.
Yeah, what?
Okay, I think one cool touch for the upgrade is obviously they're doing the whole red, bright red color change, and everybody would notice that. I think it's a really cool thing that he has like those necklaces or that necklace around him. I think it's a necklace of sorts. It might be like teeth or something like that. That he has
but it
around.
Makes a big difference, yeah.
It does. Like it gives a certain level of contrast. And it gives him like a more imposing, look overall.
Yeah, but I agree with you. I feel like he's too humanoid.
He's very humanoid and he's very plain. Wait, did he just scratch his ass? Is that what he did? yeah, he is. Oh my god, that's awesome. Okay, he just went from like 5 to a 10.
We can play this game for like 20 years and still notice new things.
It's amazing, isn't it?
It's amazing. Here we have the evil genie.
The evil genie.
Sultan.
One small note. I'm actually happy that they didn't use the same, like this glitter area here for the two different types of genies. That they actually changed it up, because that would have felt like a copy paste.
If they did that with the genies.
Yeah, like if they just took that swirly thing and gave it to this guy instead.
But they are a lot like the genies, but I like them. I don't like the non-upgraded, but the upgraded one, it's pretty cool.
I just noticed they have like a tiny beard on them, like not a beard, like a mustache thing that goes down. It does that a little bit, but yeah, it's not a super interesting creature to look at. It's interesting in terms of like lore and whatnot, and it's overall a cool creature, but not in this iteration. It's very simplistic and it's a very small creature to look at.
Yeah, but it fits pretty good into the whole devil.
Oh, it's perfect. It's right where it's supposed to be.
Yeah, but the devil himself.
The devil himself.
That's like one of the great designs. The upgraded one, anyway.
The thing is that even the basic design is pretty good. Like it might be a little bit like it doesn't look super imposing, at least compared to the Archdevil.
Yeah,
but it does
he's
look pretty
still
good. Yeah, it still looks
and
pretty
the
good.
fucking move animation that he explodes and appears somewhere. I love that. That's such a great animation.
It's so over the top, and it's just amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. Especially for the time, like. Even today, I feel like you don't see a unit move like that. It's just his basic movement. He explodes and appears somewhere else.
Yeah. The thing is, the devil literally doesn't have a walk animation. Consider that for a second, right?
Yeah. I like that. That's a great choice.
All right. So
he's just very badass.
Yeah, in terms of overall aesthetics, he just, the horns, the black, the red, it's what you would expect. Maybe they could have given him, a more traditional devil look with the pitchfork thing, trident thing, whatever it is. But
yeah, it's kind of funny they've mixed him up with what's he called?
The Reaper.
Yeah, the Grim Reaper. He got his weapon.
Maybe this devil is just a gardener, man.
Yeah, I don't, but I like it. I think I like it better than if he had a pitchfork.
I think I'd prefer this, in all honesty. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's better than a pitchfork.
Yeah.
Yeah. Overall, I love this team aesthetics. It fits together and it's well done, and yeah, pretty much overall very well done.
It is very, very well, very well done. Oh, that's the thing, actually. Okay, never mind. I forgot that was actually a thing that you upgrade into. But yeah, it looks amazing. The units are definitely among the better ones overall. Some of the basic ones are a bit plain, as we talked about, but the upgrades look very good.
Yeah, and even though they're plain, at least they fit into the theme of the faction pretty much on each unit.
Yeah. Alright then.
Oh, and this is another great one we're going to now.
This is another great one, exactly. So, what do we got here? We got the Necropolis, exactly. And
this is my personal, if I have to play a game and I haven't played in a long time, this is probably my favorite team.
They have, they have a bunch of iconic units here, and we're gonna get to that in a sec. But overall, what do you think of the city itself, the castle itself?
It's a very nice touch that when you upgrade your castle, instead of getting houses like in some of the factions, you get more gravestones instead of houses. That's a very nice touch.
It is, right? Like it just, the whole idea of you, because the whole fantasy is just you amass a bunch of skeletons, like you have all of these bodies ready to fight for you, and it's just all tombstones and graves. It's just awesome.
Yeah, you could say it's a very grey look, the town, but I think it's a good thing. But someone might criticize it for being too grey.
I think it strikes a decent balance. It's not the most colorful look, but it's not supposed to be, giving
Nah, exactly.
What you're fighting against. Anyway, so these are the units, obviously. The skeleton.
It's almost like the undead version of the humans. You get what you expect for each level unit, and it's just well done.
I don't think you necessarily get what you expect.
Instead of the pikemen, you get these skeleton warriors, and that's the undead version of a pikeman.
Yeah, I mean, okay, I obviously agree with that one, but then, I mean, it's not like
a zombie again. It's so basic for the undead. You gotta throw a zombie in there.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. I was mostly thinking they're not matching a 1-to-1 comparison wise to the humans. It's not like their level 2 is some sort of undead archer or something like that.
No, but the horse warrior, they're the same, and there's some, but it's not a big point. I like the fact that the zombie has the arm that's a bone sticking out.
I was about to say something about that arm. So you know how the upgrades in the games are all stronger variations of the same unit, right?
Yeah.
In this case, wouldn't it have made more sense that the zombie would have been more decayed? Like the upgraded one looks like it has grown an arm and
Yeah.
gotten
True.
a larger axe instead of like that meat cleaver.
You wouldn't think he could grow an arm.
No, but apparently he can. This guy is dangerous, man.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. He might have been. Yeah. That's a good point.
We kind of skipped the skeleton, but it's pretty generic skeleton work.
Yeah,
So
there's not much to say, but it's well done.
yeah,
And the same with the wrath. That's not much to say. It's a cool unit.
personally, I think like it matches overall. Like it actually looks really good. It's very simplistic, but it looks very very good. Because it's not a ghost, but I think I would have preferred if the ghost, like if the basic one was a ghost and then turned into a wraith instead.
Yeah, but then it wouldn't be a wraith if it was a ghost.
Well, it could turn into one. I don't know. I don't know like the law specifics if that's allowed in fantasy or not. But it's just the difference is very small in the upgrades, and it's a bit underwhelming.
Yeah, but it definitely gets better.
Oh yeah, I mean, from here on out, it's almost only good. There's only one disappointing one, and we'll get to that.
Yeah.
All right. So these guys, probably fan favorite among many players.
It's kind of a weird look, to be honest.
It's
The bat is cool looking, but like when he turns into a humanoid, I don't know. I love him because I know how amazing he is when you have him on your team. I don't know. I'm glad they didn't do the same as in Heroes 2. They had a straight up Dracula looking vampire. I'm happy they didn't do that.
I was about to say.
Now he's kind of a Voldemort vibe or something.
I mean, who would you pick? Dracula or Voldemort, right? Like it looks. At the very least, it's not a Dracula look. Even if it wasn't like just in the second game, it's he looks more undead now. He looks more like a creature that feeds off of your blood and whatnot, however they work out. Some games have definitely done it better in terms of overall look, but I do think the upgrade has this very vibrant look to it, which I think is an interesting contrast to overall the undead, coloring and whatnot.
Yeah, it's funny he get that orange look on his clothes, but
Yeah.
it's well good fitting, well fitting. Yeah, he's a good unit. He's a cool unit, but he's not like amazing design wise.
No, he's not.
But it is limited how what you can do. It has still to be a vampire. It's limited how much you can change before when it's still a vampire. It's a pretty good.
But keep in mind, we're also comparing, like, this is a vampire, right? Obviously, it's a very, very well-known character or, like, creature in fantasy settings. So you have, like, the bar is very high for, if you're discussing aesthetics for vampires and whatnot.
Yeah. It's a good vampire. It's just not something you think, whoa, amazing.
No, probably not. So, this guy.
This is great on the other hand. This is one where you think, wow, that's great design. I remember being like 10 years old and sitting, drawing this guy in front of my screen and drawing on paper drawings of this guy. Yeah, I love the design. It's an awesome for a ranged undead.
I think it looks amazing. Like, just the base design kind of looks obviously like a skeleton with a staff, and he's not super imposing looking or anything, but he's still like he's not uninteresting, right? He does have some lighting and some coloring, and
Yeah, it does a lot. It's crazy how much difference it does. That the staff, the light from that, it shines on him.
Yeah, exactly.
It does so much.
But then you go to the upgraded version, and he has this almost royal look. Like you're almost thinking,
exactly.
Holy crap, that's a king or a pharaoh or something like that, and he's brought back to life.
Prince or something. Yeah. I love. Yeah, exactly. Royal. That's a good word to put on him. It looks like he's a royal undead or something.
Also, the thing is, when you recruit something that's called a power lich, you're just feeling good. Okay, you just feel good about it. It doesn't matter what the stats are. Like, this is a fairly decent unit. It's not the strongest, but it's definitely not weak.
Yeah, and it's the good version of the level 2 on the demons.
Yeah, the Magogs.
He doesn't damage your team.
Unless you have none undeads on your team.
Yeah, but that's just a great touch.
Yeah, it is. Another thing is, speaking of the whole aesthetic part, is all of these units, they can't be blinded, right? But they also can't get any morale boosts, and that's an interesting way of adding the whole aesthetics choice of these characters into the game mechanics, which is a whole other discussion of itself.
Yeah, but that's great. I love, and they do a lot of that in Heroes. I think it's a lot of those subtle but very meaningful game mechanics.
Absolutely. Are you ready for it?
Yeah.
Alright guys, introducing the Dread Knights, right? This is the level 7 unit of the game. Or of this faction. And no, I mean level 7. Nobody counts the Ghost Dragons.
Yeah, I was about to correct you, but he's definitely more. Yeah, he's a unit you want on your team.
This guy, just a quick side note. I know this is not supposed to be a power talk, but when he crits and he gets his like special ability, he does 4 times damage. Okay, this guy is so scary. He's just insane.
And the animation for the crit is so satisfying.
It is so satisfying. Like the only thing close to being as good feeling is the Crusader from the Castle faction, just slamming something twice, and that's not even as good. But anyway,
I feel like the not upgraded, it's all right, but it's not that great. But the upgraded one is really good looking.
To be fair though, the basic one, it is a basic look overall, but it's not lacking detail necessarily, right? I mean, it is compared to the upgraded version, but that's the point. But it has...
Again, the guy riding on the horse, I feel like looks a little weird. Like it looks like he has rabbit ears or something.
You're actually right. Oh my god, I've never seen that. Actually, you know what? It looks like he doesn't have a helmet. It looks like it's just his skeleton face.
Yeah, he gets the bucket helmet on the upgrade. He doesn't have one on the not upgraded.
Just a quick note, I do actually like the bucket helmets in...
me too.
Like, not just in this character, just overall, I think it's a fun thing to add on like a soldier-type character, or a unit for that matter.
And it carries a lot of, like, you feel like, okay, it's clunky, because it probably is too.
Yeah. I mean, but the thing is, his whole outfit plus the horse and whatnot, he's not lightweight, right? He definitely weighs something. There's some weight behind that character.
Yeah.
And that weapon he has, like the curve and the extended hilt and everything, it looks amazing.
Really good looking weapon.
I think actually, I might be wrong here, but I think that might be like some weapon from like Asian. I believe Mongols or something like that might have used it. I'm not entirely sure, but it does look like something from over there. The weapon itself, like the design of it. I could be wrong. I haven't researched it. I don't know.
It's kind of like a machete, but it's not. It's still not.
No, it's way too extended, and it curves. Machetes don't curve like that.
No, not like that, but they do curve. But anyways.
It's a different topic.
Yeah.
Alright, no, we're done.
You gotta give them, if it's the aesthetics we're talking, we can't get around talking about the dragon.
No, okay, you're right. Okay.
It's like, I feel like it's generic, but still not, because when I think about it, there's not a lot of games I see a dragon like this, a bone dragon. It's such a great concept, but for some reason I don't feel like I see it a lot.
I think there is... I'm pretty sure World of Warcraft has like one bone dragon, but I don't think they have a ghost dragon.
Warcraft 3, they have a... so they probably also have one in WoW.
Yeah, but the thing is...
But again, it's not that it's never seen, but you don't see it very often, and the one in WoW is not nearly as good as this one. I've never seen one done as well as this one.
No, it's a unique look, but it makes sense. Like, you know, it just, if anything can become a skeleton or an undead or, you know, a variant of it, why can't a dragon? And the dragon is one of the most fearsome creatures, you know, as a living creature. So, you know, this makes sense. Let's do it. And it does look like the bone dragon looks a bit bland, but it's still terrifying to look at overall. Like, if you didn't account for the stats being as weak as they are, it's actually a pretty scary sight to look at, like a bone dragon like that. It does look much scarier than the other dragons they have, in my opinion. And then you can upgrade it to a fucking, you know, glowing ghost dragon, you know, transparent thing, whatever it is.
You shouldn't look too carefully into the details, but if you just look at it, the whole thing, then I feel like it's very good looking.
Yeah. One thing that I think is like it's a type of consistency thing, right? I think it's a great touch that they added the spine ridges, like the spikes that it has on the spine, because most other dragons have those spikes, but they're very small because like you don't see that much of the spike because they have like a layer of muscle and tissue and a dragon scale on top of it, right? So it's covers most of the bone. Here you see the entire fucking spike, and I think that looks great.
Yeah, it's very anatomic.
I don't know if it's correct, but it does. Like I could believe.
You can't see anatomically correct because there's no dragons in real life, but I feel like this is a good illustration of how it could look if you took it for real, a dragon skeleton.
Absolutely.
Again, it's not as much fantasy as it is like it feels like they tried to do like what it would be like in real life if it was a real dragon that turned to a skeleton, because like you said, in Warcraft there's also skeleton dragons, but they're much more, they're not at all like this. They're not as bony. They're kinds of,
they're more exactly, they're not just bones. They're mostly, you know, somewhat decomposed, but then enhanced with like this frost magic from the Lich King or whatever.
I like this just a skeleton dragon.
Yeah. Anyway.
But not a very great power unit.
No, let's not talk about the power. That's fun at the video, guys.
Yeah. Maybe I take it back. My favorite team was Necropolis. It's definitely this or the
Necropolis.
Yeah, I love this faction too. It's a very. I feel like it's a very powerful faction.
It's a powerful faction, and it's a faction that, I mean, it looks good in a way. You know, it's not supposed to look good the way it's been designed like this. I mean, obviously everything needs to look good in some way, but this isn't. It's not like a pretty faction to look at.
It's supposed to be gritty.
Yeah, it's exactly. It's supposed to be somewhat gritty, somewhat, you know, they are evil centric, like lore-wise. They're not like the humans or the elves or whatever. I don't know if the elves are technically speaking evil.
I feel like now we have done a couple of fractions that have had a recognizable. You know what they are? They are necrophiles and they're demons and they're elves and they're humans and stuff. This is kind of like the what was it? Fortress, the snow base. What was it called? I can't remember. Tower, yeah. It's kind of like Tower in the sense that I don't really know what this fraction is, but it's some kind. It's like some kind of fraction they made up of different units you wouldn't expect to see together necessarily.
No, I do agree with you. If you look at the...
Also, before you look at the units, the Grail, I want to point that out. That's my favorite Grail. It's like you don't see it before you hover your mouse over it and you think, oh, shit.
It actually, like, if you don't consider
he's crying blood, I think that's so dope.
Yeah. Another nice touch is he's right below the dragon, the dragon nest, and it's just, you know, it's... I mean, who else to guard the Grail than a fucking black dragon, right?
Yeah, it's but let's do the units.
All right. So we briefly mentioned the whole skeleton warriors and whatnot, like the whole undead army. They can't be blinded. They can't get morale boosts and whatnot, which is one way of adding aesthetics into game mechanics. this also applies to the troglodytes here, because they're actually blind, and that also makes them immune to blinding spells. You know, it's just one of those small touches that I really like.
Yeah. Again, it's a great touch.
It is. So
It's not really a unit. I don't think I've seen it anywhere else. Have you?
I know of the name. It's
I don't even really know the name.
I think you meet them once in a while in like a D&D session or something like that. It's not a demonic creature, so you don't really see it in Diablo. You might see it in World of Warcraft. I'm not sure actually.
I don't think so. It's a very ugly, but like it's supposed to be. But it's a very repulsing looking creature.
I mean, it doesn't have eyes, so you know it can't see into a mirror,
Yeah,
and
and
it does know it's ugly. And you know what they say, right?
And it's totally hunchbacked and has no eyes, and it's just a miserable looking creature.
I mean, you just interrupted my joke. I hate you. No, I'm just kidding. I was gonna say beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and then point at the beholder. But never mind. All right. It is actually a really cool looking creature, if I'm being honest. Like the base one is a bit bland, but I love that the upgrade has like this, like the hunchback is being turned into its own weapon in a way, right? And that just looks super badass.
And it makes sense, like it's down in the dwelling in the dungeons beneath the earth. It is like those fish that is very deep beneath the sea. They don't even have eyes because they don't need them because they're no light. And it's kind of the same deal with these guys.
Yeah, 100% agree. The hunchback part also makes sense. Like, how large would a cave be, right?
Yeah.
So
there are some miserable motherfuckers.
yeah, I suppose they are. All right, harpies make no sense here. There, I said it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of like, okay, they maybe live in the mountainsides and stuff, but not beneath the earth.
No, because you're if you just think of this as a creature by itself, right? You're taking away your own advantage of flight by being in a cave. I mean, I know you could say the same thing about bats and whatnot, but bats do it for other reasons, right? And in addition to that, bats are much smaller than what harpies are supposed to be. I think harpies are somewhat human-sized in this game.
Yeah, but it's a pretty good unit. It's well done. It's again, it's not a unit you see that often, but it's I'm all right with the design, but it's not like it's blowing me away.
No, me neither. I think this is. I mean, the creature itself is as you said, you see it occasionally in games, but it's not super represented. But this is by no means my top creatures of any kind. It's a bit bland overall. Like the design is fine, but just the execution of it kind of looks like an eagle, you know, like eagle wings, eagle legs, and then just I don't know, an old lady's face or something like that.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's definitely better on the upgrade. It helps a lot. It gets 2 blades and some white on the wings and stuff.
Yeah, I think I would have preferred it without the blades, honestly, just because.
Why?
It's just. It's. I don't see why it would have these blades. Like, it feels like it should have its own claws and whatnot, and they could do the work. I mean, they do, but then why not use them?
Cause a blade.
Because the blade is obviously better, but I mean, you know. Anyway, doesn't matter. So the whole beholder thing.
Also, some fucking weird looking things. I feel I've seen them very, very, very not very often. It's like I hate this unit. I feel like the guy that came up with this unit, I don't know what he was thinking. It's such a ridiculous unit. I hate it.
Okay. I don't know why they went with this iteration, if I'm being honest. I didn't play D&D when I started playing Heroes 3, so I didn't know the connection back then. But beholders are like very strong creatures in D&D. They are very difficult to deal with for low to mid level.
They might be strong, but they're still. Yeah, I don't like the whole.
But
art.
But they're also better looking than this one. They're mostly just a head and then with multiple eyes. They don't have those tentacle things, whatever they are, at the bottom, and the head itself is much larger. And they have
but I have every time I've seen them, I feel like I don't like them. But especially these ones, the tentacles make them just like almost disgusting to look at.
The thing is, like, it doesn't matter what you call this, evil eyes or beholders. It doesn't look like something that fits on a battlefield. It looks like it's a brain and an eye. It's like the two weakest points on the entire body, aside from maybe the throat.
Yeah,
right.
I'm not loving this.
No.
This one. But let's Medusa. On the other hand, that's again what you would expect, pretty much what you would expect, but well done.
I don't actually like the upgrade. I think I prefer the base version. It has this whole green thing to it. I don't know if they were trying to do like a sort of like a certain snake variant of it or something like that, like a cobra or a rattlesnake or I don't know, something like that. But I just prefer the green one over the golden one.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not that much difference, but yeah, I can see what you mean. The green one is more. I don't know. Yeah, they're pretty. I'm okay with both of them, but again, they're not. It's not like you're getting blown away. They're all right.
Yeah, I suppose. All right, you ready for this?
Yeah, now we're talking.
This is a good-looking motherfucker, okay? So
yeah, so badass.
If we're being fair, we basically gave the same criticism to a lot of other basic units, so we have to give it to this one as well. It is a very humanoid look. I mean, he still has the whole, obviously this is not goat legs. It's probably, like.
But it's right on the perfect line. I feel like it's perfect. It's not too human. It's not too non-human. It's the perfect.
It has
compromise.
No, like it's done better than let's say the Gogs from from Inferno, right? It's still looking somewhat human, and it kinda is, right? I mean, I don't know how a cow or a bull with hooves is going to carry an axe, but it probably has like human hands or whatever.
Yeah.
But overall, he does look awesome. The legs are a nice touch. They're not human legs, so it's not just a bull's head. Like it's a hybrid of sorts.
I feel like it's like perfect. I wouldn't change anything about this design. It's that they just look badass. They look exactly what I would want a Minotaur to look like.
The upgraded version, though, it has a level of like a level of dread and intimidation. It looks awesome. Imagine if that thing was maybe like half a meter or 1 meter taller than you, and it just started walking towards you. Like, it would scare the shit out of you.
Yeah, it just looks heavy and
it does.
Fucking mean.
It does. It looks very mean. The red eyes, the whole bull look. You already know bulls can be aggressive and whatnot. Like, it's really badass.
Yeah, it's a great unit. Great looking unit.
Absolutely. And in terms of stats, not a slouch.
Yeah.
This one, okay, so the first one, I don't know why.
It's not a lot of difference between the upgraded and non-upgraded.
No, the thing is, the basic one is called the Manticore, right? And the upgraded one is like a Scorpicorus or whatever. And I don't know why they did that. The Manticore is a very, very known creature in terms of like mythology and whatnot. It's like, well, it basically looks like that in some way, shape, or form. But why not make that the upgraded one? Like, why is the Scorpicore a stronger version than the Manticore? This is more of a naming convention than actual aesthetic, I know, but still.
Why would one be stronger than the other?
Well, one of them is very known, but have you ever heard of a Scorpicore?
Nah, no. I guess not. But I don't hear a lot about the Manticore either.
You occasionally come across a Manticore.
Yeah, you have come across it, but it's a little weird. It's like I have to come up with a magical creature. I take 3 different creatures and turn them into one weird hybrid.
It depends on the law. I mean, as far as I know, Manticores are like created by wizards or something like that. And no, we didn't make them, guys. Don't worry. But you know, like some sort of wizardry or magic or whatever created this thing. It's some sort of like arcane experiment, at least according to some law in some games or whatever.
Yeah, but I'm not blaming the wizards that made them. I'm blaming the designers.
But I mean, they're also kind of wizards, aren't they?
Yeah, I guess. Some wild wizards.
Some wild wizards. Maybe not
Wizards
that wild.
going wild.
Nah, I think we are going overboard here. No, I'm just kidding.
But I don't know. It's they achieved what they wanted, and it's fine for what it is. But like the evil eyes, I just don't like the whole creature generally very much. But it's fine for what they tried to do. They pretty much achieved.
I'm gonna go with... It's an interesting level 6 unit, but it's not an interesting looking upgrade.
And like, why would it live in a cage?
Cage or cave?
Cave.
Well, scorpions do... Like, scorpions can live in caves or
but it's a
underground.
lion head.
It's a lion head.
More lion than scorpion.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, let's do the dragon.
Yeah. So, red dragon becoming a black dragon. I mean, it's a dragon, it's generic, but it's good looking and it matches the overall color palette of the rest of the faction.
Yeah, I don't know. Even though that's generic, I just like on the elves, the dragons they got. Again, both that's kind of generic, but still, I just like that way of designing dragons, that look for dragons.
This is a very European way of drawing dragons. Like you have the Asian dragons, the snake-like dragons, and they can look cool in their own right. But I do prefer, in actual combat or whatever, I think this dragon is more interesting to look at, like when it's fighting something else. It also looks a bit more imposing just because it's like a larger creature. It has more weight to it. It's not just like a snake that's coiled around something.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, that's a matter of taste.
I suppose.
But overall, this team, I feel like I like it. Again, when you look at them individually, there's a lot of stuff to say, like it's kind of random choices maybe, but again, when you look at the full picture, it still somehow kind of binds together to a fraction. I can say, okay, that kind of makes sense. Or what you feel like?
It's not the most coherent one. Like, I don't see Minotaurs being in caves. I would say that they generally are, in labyrinths and whatnot.
But the cave has a labyrinth. That's the building.
Yeah, but that's more of an add-on thing. Like, I think that's the designers trying to justify a Minotaur being there rather than it actually being there. Like,
yeah, maybe, but yeah, it's a kind of a weird combination, but it's not that bad. I feel like, again, compared to fuck, I can't remember the name. I can never remember
Tower?
that place. Yeah, compared to Tower, I feel like that was more random than this.
Yeah, I would agree with you there. But then again, I still think this is a good town overall.
Yeah, and I love playing that. It's a great team. You got that mana hub that multiplies your mana by 2 on the hero. That's so sick.
That is very strong. But that's not a discussion for today, my friend.
It's not, but it's worth mentioning.
All right. So, what do we got here? We got the orcs. This is Stronghold.
Goddamn orcs.
Yeah. This is one of my least favorite town designs overall. It's It's very uninspiring. It's not super boring. I mean, it's still, Heroes 3 level of quality, but it's still very uninspiring overall.
Yeah, it's very much just okay. Some barbarians have a base.
Yeah.
But I don't feel like the units are uninspired, but the base is,
No. Just
not that interesting.
Just the castle, the town, yeah.
Building.
All right. So speaking of units, right? Hobgoblins. The hobgoblins specifically, you do see in a lot of games actually, especially in things like MMOs. You see them as generally low-level creatures between level like 10, 20, 30, something like that. You encounter some sort of hobgoblin or goblin or maybe even some gremlins or whatever. So
they're just like the pikemen for the humans. They're just like it's a good unit for level 1 on the orcs, even though it's kind of basic.
But it's a very weak unit, though. It's cheap but weak. But that's another discussion, obviously. We cannot.
I like that he wields that weapon. That it's not like an axe or something. I like that weapon. I can't remember what's it called.
The mace.
Yeah, is the mace with the pikes?
Yeah, it's just a spiked mace or whatever.
Yeah, I like it. I think it's a good unit, even though it's kind of basic.
I don't think the gold fits them. Like the gold helmet, I don't think it fits the upgrade. It matches some of the other coloring overall going on, but I don't think this team should have gold appearances.
No, I think it's pretty good looking, but I agree it's fucking orcs. They're very cheap fraction, and they're not supposed to have expensive stuff like that.
No. I mean, if anything, I would honestly prefer to see like leather and hide and whatnot around his neck and maybe a helmet of some sort. I don't know, but like some sort of
some standard steel or iron plates and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's do the wolves. That's just pretty much the same unit on a wolf.
This is it's basically the same thing going on here. Though personally, I do like the darkened look on the wolf. I think it looks amazing.
Like, you can't talk about this unit without at least mentioning the double attack power.
No, I know you can't. I was trying not to, but then you just brought it on, and I'm like, well, okay, fuck it. I guess we're doing this. You had to. I know.
It's a level 2 unit, and it can just destroy anything if there's enough.
The thing I generally do with this is a little bit off topic, I'm sorry, but the thing I generally do with this unit is I actually leave it in the base and I don't use it for the start of for the first 1 or 2 weeks, just to amass a few extra one of them, because it dies very, very fast.
So and the computer always, for some reason, goes after the units that die easily. They will destroy those in no time.
It's the mathematically superior choice, but yeah. Overall, it's not an interesting look in terms of upgrade. I mean, it's still getting some upgrades, like the wolf is turning dark and the gold appearance on the sword and the helmet and whatnot. But it's not a super interesting look overall. But then again, most other level 2 units don't get this, like they don't get a large visual upgrades anyway, so it's passable. It still looks good when it's upgraded.
It's alright.
Yeah. This is one of the worst designs overall, I think.
Yeah, it's a little it's a little weird. It's too humanoid again.
No, I mean, it's fine. I don't mind the humanoid part. It's a bland-looking orc with a boring-looking axe, and then he becomes a dual thrower or whatever with, some horns and a better chainmail or plate mail or whatever that is. It's a boring-looking look to an archer. I mean, he's not an archer, but like a ranged unit.
Maybe humanoid was a bad wording too. Also, orcs are kind of humanoid. It's just not a very inspired design.
I mean, I do like the whole, like, if this was some sort of like Indian-looking thing with the tomahawk throw and whatnot, like if that's what they went for, that would be cool. But you don't see any aspects of it, right? You only see the throwing weapons and that's it. Maybe some, tattoos or a feather or whatever. That would look cool.
Yeah, it doesn't help. He's kind of underpowered too.
He's very tanky for an archer. That's what he's got.
That's not what you want from an archer.
No. All right, this guy.
This is the quintessential orc.
It is.
I feel like it's just a big bruiser.
This is well. First of all, it's not a World of Warcraft orc, right? It doesn't have those, iconic teeth and whatnot.
Yeah.
But it does have the overall orc look, and it does look pretty good overall.
Both, and I feel like, there's also something about it I don't like. I don't know. It has the long hair that lays flat down on the head. It kind of looks stupid.
I can agree with that. I think I would have preferred like a leather helmet instead, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. They look kind of weird. Yeah, I wish they would have done a little more. Yeah, like Blizzard-inspired orc.
To be fair,
the standard orc warrior you get in the Warcraft strategy games is something like that.
I suppose. Although, to be fair though, the upgrade does look like it has a little bit of not intensity to it, but he does look a little bit menacing. Not extremely, he's not super scary. He's not like an Archdevil or Archangel or Dragons or whatever, right? But he does have like a, don't get too close or I'll fucking clobber you look. And I think that's cool.
His weapon looks is a lot cooler too, with the skull on the top and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Thunderbird.
Yeah, and what's this is a rock. That's the basic name for it. And then it upgrades into a Thunderbird. Honestly, if we're being completely honest here, it's just it's just a palette swap, and it's an eagle or whatever. It's one of their worst designs, I suppose. I
feel like the design is fine. It's just a bad choice to put a normal bird on the team, a big bird.
It makes sense. Like, if you actually take D&D inspirations from this, the rock is actually a huge bird. It's not just eagle-sized, right? It's actually colossal.
But it still just looks like a bird. I don't know. They could have done something a little more interesting.
Yeah, they could.
But I feel like if they wanted to do a bird, it's a fine concept for a bird.
In all honesty, I don't think a griffin would be the worst fit here. Nah. I mean, I don't know if a griffin is technically speaking a good or evil creature in this lore, in this particular game's lore. But in terms of overall look, I think a griffin could fit in a place like this.
Yeah, but I feel like they're more, like you said earlier, they're almost kind of royal looking.
Just the upgrade, but yeah.
Yeah, but compared to these are more rough looking. You could imagine them more being with barbarian orcs.
I suppose. How barbarians train wild rocks, though, is out of my expertise.
Yeah, how they train behemoths, but yeah. But the Cyclops. No, is that a thing that orcs are with Cyclops?
No. Well, kinda. You do see it in World of Warcraft as well.
I feel like I've seen it before, but I don't know.
It's I can understand the similarities, but not entirely. It's not. I don't know. Overall, personally, I do like Cyclops as a unit. I think it's interesting to have that, colossal but extremely stupid creature that you can fuck around with it and whatnot, and it's just not understanding why. But if you mess up, it's just gonna squish you just like that. You're done.
And a great touch that they can throw the rocks on the walls if you attack a city.
Yeah, it's pretty
That's
cool.
A good touch.
Well, what do you think about?
I feel like, what?
No, go ahead.
I feel like again it's a little weird they give it gold in the upgrade.
Yeah, that's the thing. Well, you kind of read my mind. I was gonna ask you about the
That was what
upgrade.
you were gonna say.
Yeah, but the like, I do like that it is because if you think back to the Odyssey, when the Cyclops asks who the fuck blinded him and whatnot, and he's like, nobody did, right? That whole Greek mythology story and whatnot. I think that's cool. So it's wearing like a golden toga, I think they're called, like the Greek outfit.
It's not really a toga, but it's definitely looks like it's Roman or something like that.
Or at least Roman. Like, it has some semblance from that era, and I think that's cool. I just don't agree with it being on a Cyclops or in gold color. Like,
yeah, if it was just leather, I would be fine with it. But that it's gold, that's I don't like that.
The thing is, if this had been a society of just Cyclops, like they are called Cyclops Kings, right? So it makes sense that they have some sort of wealth or fame or stature. So that does make sense. But if this had been like an entire society, I could see like some sort of arena champion Cyclops wearing gold or whatever. I think that could be cool. But just like, just being a leveled unit in a faction, I don't think the gold matches it.
Yeah, just make it leather.
All right, the stuff of nightmares. Here we go.
Now it's like the Lich Kings or the what else? The Minotaurs. It's like this is one of the great designs in the game.
Liches, I think you said Lich Kings.
Yeah, Lich King, and Minotaurs. Fuck, I can't talk today. Minotaurs.
Minotaurs.
Yeah.
That happens to all of us.
Like, it's just... What?
It happens to all of us.
It's just it's one of the great design units. It's like, it looks so badass. It looks so awesome.
The thing is, it's a simple looking creature, if you consider, like, everything. Like, it's a beast, it has claws, it has teeth, it's huge. Like, it doesn't have anything it doesn't have anything special that you've never heard of, right? It's not a majestic dragon, it's not an archangel or an archdevil or whatever. It's just this huge, hulking, lumbering beast with colossal claws and teeth and I don't know what, and it's just coming at you and it's gonna rip you to shreds, and I fucking love it. It just looks so good.
Yeah, and I feel like if it was another company who would have designed it, they would maybe have done the same, but it would not have looked as awesome. If you look at it, again, it almost just looks like a big bear or something.
It does resemble a bear.
But for some reason, it just looks so good. When you look at the face, it looks so savage, and the big claws, and it just looks so great.
Its claws are definitely my favorite part. Actually, before we get into that, I think they could have done a better job on the legs. The legs seem a bit small for the creature. Maybe that's on purpose to make it seem more like top-heavy, more, like Johnny Bravo character, something like that. Like it's big and muscular, but it's not, necessarily fast or whatever. Like it has this awesome heavy look to it, but I think the legs could have been better done. At least make them thicker or larger.
That's nitpicking.
It is. All of this is nitpicking.
Yeah, of course. But like, I can see what you mean with the legs, but I wouldn't even really mention it. I think it's just, it looks so good. It's exactly how a beast should look.
So, again, we talked with the whole aesthetics into game design and whatnot and mechanics. I love that the claws visually represent that this thing is going to do a lot of damage to you, and you can see it in the stat that it ignores 80% of the enemy's defense. I think that is such a cool. It's such a simplistic way to just show this thing. If it touches you, is gonna it's just gonna fuck you up. I honestly think this is like one of the best one-on-one creatures in the game.
Yeah, it's a powerhouse of damage.
Yeah. Anyway. Only 2 left, and this is Fortress. Oh, so
this used to be like, I've played this game for so many years. This used to be like the team I was always like, that's the worst team. And when I talked with others, they were like, yeah, that's the worst team in the game. But I've come to like it more and more through the years.
the thing is, going into a bit of strategy here and whatnot, this is a very defensive game. This team is supposed to be played very defensively. And that's not how you necessarily want to play heroes all of the time. But you can do some extreme stalls and, slow victories with this team. Because they're just good at just, disabling the enemy and just doing things that just favor you in the long run.
Yeah, and I don't know, I guess it's a swamp theme.
What made you say that? No, seriously.
And it's almost kind of like the castle you are on now. It's almost like Mayan looking.
I don't know if that's Mayan looking, but I know what you're trying to say. I was thinking.
I'm not saying it is, but it's kind of in that direction.
It has those, popular stairs along the sides and whatnot. Like, it goes all the way up to the top, and with some sort of flame up there. And I think it's really cool. I wonder if this was some sort of idea of El Dorado. I'm not entirely sure, but I don't think so.
Nah, then it would be more gold.
It would be, but maybe this was like after El Dorado fell into, Oblivion or whatever it fell into. Like after it disappeared, maybe this is what it would have looked like.
That's much speculation.
It is. Anyway, so the Null Marauders. Well, Nulls appear in quite a lot of games overall. They're not super interesting. They're generally more annoying than threatening in most games. And these ones are just not interesting at all in terms of design.
I don't know. I think they're all right. Like, they capture the dog face pretty good.
Well, I think Nulls are supposed to be more like hyena looking. Actually.
Yeah, than hyena. Like, I think they're all right looking. Again, it's a level 1 unit, so it's fine. It's not like super badass and crazy looking. It's just a level 1 unit.
Yeah.
But there's nothing amazing going on in the design.
Can you only have two? Never mind. Okay, so the Lizard Warriors. Honestly, I've never been a big fan of them.
Nah, me neither.
I mean, it's a cool enough idea, but I think I would have preferred, that whole thing that's been mentioned in certain games with lizards having these regenerative abilities and whatnot. It kind of makes more sense to make them actual warriors instead of archers, and just regen in combat. That would have been a cool thing, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. Also, they're kind of weird looking. I don't know. They're fine, but I wouldn't even have guessed that they were lizards if they weren't called lizards.
No, probably not. I don't know.
They're all right, but I feel like they were the level 1 units were better looking than these.
Also, I suppose if they're gonna be archers, and the way I would imagine a team like this to function, at least with lower level units, you would have something like the Marauders running in and ambushing somebody, and then you would have the Lizard Warrior standing, near trees or on top of trees and whatnot, and shooting arrows into people, right? They can't really hide that well. They're very blue looking. They're very bright looking in a swamp area, so they have no level of camouflage and whatnot. I think that kind of defeats their whole archery advantage. Maybe not the advantage, but people will be able to find them and close in on them fast.
Yeah, not a great unit.
No. These ones are fucking annoying.
Yeah, and again, it's kind of like the evil eye on the dungeon. It's like, why give a snake with fly wings? I just think it's a weird idea for a creature.
I think this is a sort of take on the prehistoric Meginur or whatever it's called. Like it's a giant insect, like really, really huge. And I think they're also called dragonflies back then or something like that. At least a more modern name.
I think you're right.
And I think that's the reason anyway. But yeah.
They're just, I don't know, snakes with wings. I don't like them. I think they should have picked something else.
In all honesty, though, I mean, you might not like them, but would you at least admit that they fit well into a swamp theme?
I don't know if I would say they fit well, but they fit okay. It's not like you're thinking, what are they doing here? It's just like, it's not very appealing to look at them.
No, but that's not necessarily the point, though.
I like that they are snakes and they have a poison effect in combat.
Yeah. Never mind. I was just checking. It's actually these ones that have the poison, the wyverns. These ones just weaken you. But anyway.
Yeah, but they have some kind of effect like that.
Yeah. All right. Moving on to the basilisks. Well, first of all, we are staying in tune with the whole somewhat dragon, whole lizard lineage thing with the basilisk, and I think that's cool.
Yeah, I like it.
I don't know if I like the upgrade. I think it looks cool overall compared to the basic one, but I don't know if I actually like the one difference that they make, which is the purple. I don't know what it is. Fins, hair, flaps. What is it?
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool. I like that it's a dragon, but it's a lizard instead.
It's a low-level dragon.
It's not even really a dragon. It's just a huge lizard. I like it. It's not. It's like, again, it's so basic, but somehow they make it look pretty cool.
I suppose.
You're not into them, or
it's I don't know. I would have preferred something a bit more interesting. It's a level 4 unit, and it's not that it's not super imposing. It's a bit small, and it's just the stats are alright, but that's for a discussion for another day. I think I would have preferred it either larger or actually longer, just like having it be a little bit more snake-ish rather than just lizard-ish.
Yeah, maybe. I feel like it's pretty well done. It's just, yeah, it kind of looks like something you could see in real life.
I hope not.
Yeah, like a salamander or something, just much bigger and more dangerous looking.
Yeah, I suppose. Alright, guys. The Mighty Gorgon, okay? This is one of my, top 3s or whatever. This is very high ranked for me.
Yeah, that's another powerhouse.
It's a powerhouse, for sure. This thing, don't send your top-level don't send your top-level creatures after this thing, okay? Take it down with archers. But, yeah.
You don't want it to get close.
No. But, this thing is imposing because of a game mechanic. But it does also look imposing in terms of overall look.
I don't know. To be honest, I've never really understood why it's just a bull.
The thing is, that's the thing. It's not just a bull. It is a gorgon. Like a gorgon is an actual, mythical creature and whatnot.
Yeah, but it's another case like the snakes with wings and the evil eyes. Again, they did it all right, but personally, I just don't like the whole concept for the creature. When I look at it, I just see a bull.
I agree with you. There's some lore things that you need to know to understand this, and I can't remember it anymore because I did look it up 3 years ago, something like that. But I just can't remember anymore. But it does have some interesting lore behind it, at least for Gorgons overall. What do you think of the color swap that it gets when it upgrades? Or not necessarily color swap, just the color change.
To be honest, I don't think a lot. It could have gone the other way. It just gets a little darker. I don't know. I don't think it's anything amazing.
I don't think a lot. You heard it here first, folks.
I don't think a lot about the bulls.
All right, man.
Now we're back to the lizards. I like that much more. Again, it's a swarm team, So why would you have a bull? Nah, you want the fucking lizards and the thing that could live in the swamp.
To be fair, though, I mean, like to further enhance your point, the bull would probably just get stuck in the mud and just drown itself or something like that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You wouldn't see a bull in a swamp. It's a big, heavy creature. But yeah, these are I don't know. They're pretty good. They're pretty good looking.
The base design is a bit bland. It's one of those. It's one of those where they make the base design obviously purposefully, maybe not lackluster, but bland, in order to make the upgrade seem that much better, and that's fine. Yeah. But I think this is one of the ones, just like the Gogs in Inferno, and some other creatures. This one kind of needs a touch. It's very boring to look at when it's not upgraded.
Before the upgrade, it's kind of goofy looking.
Yeah, I think, in all honesty, if they had just shrunk the overall neck size of it, so that it didn't look like it was curving and then snapping to like a horizontal angle, I think it would have looked better. And then just kept the upgrade as it is, because I think the upgrade looks very intimidating and in a very cool way.
Yeah, it's a big improvement.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the King Lizard.
And the King Lizard, the Chaos Hydra.
Yeah, that's another great choice. It's the lizard, but times 5.
It's like 5 lizards in one.
Yeah, get 5 for 1. Yeah, I like it. Again, it's kind of simple, but I like it. I think it's a good choice. It's a well done overall unit.
I've been a fan of Hydras for a long time. I think the first time I really got introduced to them was the Hercules movie, if you remember that one.
Yeah.
And I think this one disappoints me a little bit. I mean, it's really cool looking, but that's about it. It's not interesting in combat. It doesn't have any aesthetic to mechanic,
It's kind of cool that it can attack potentially, like, I don't know how many creatures, but a lot.
Well, yeah. I mean, it can do that. I don't know. No, I take it back. It does have that mechanics thing going for it, but still, it's. I've always seen it a little bit underwhelming. I would have preferred a little bit more. Not on the power scale, because it is overall weaker than most other creatures, but just on the aesthetics part, because most of the heads are covering each other up. You don't get to see a lot of it. Maybe. I mean, they can't turn it towards you, because then it would look weird when it's walking or something like that, unless they gave it a different animation for that.
Yeah, they definitely could have done more, but I think still it's a pretty good looking unit.
It is. It does look heavy. It does look like it's grounded in the way it's supposed to move and whatnot.
Yeah, and it looks like a level 7 unit. I feel like, and it's a good conclusion when we've had a lot of lizard creatures, and then the final one is this huge lizard with many heads.
Yeah, I do agree. Alrighty, the last one, guys. Hope you've been enjoying it so far. It's probably a long video by now.
Yeah. I'm surprised how much I've been criticizing. When I think about the game, I only think about positive stuff. But this team, as you know, I don't really approve of. Because I played the game. Let's look at the base first.
Oh yeah.
Because I've played the game before this faction got added to the game, I've always felt like it felt like an add-on. It felt like a DLC faction. It doesn't feel. I don't feel like it fits in as well as the other teams in the bigger scheme, in the bigger picture.
You might be right. But on the plus side, I've always liked, like the core nature element aspect, earth, wind, fire, lightning, all of that stuff. And I've always liked magic, like since I think I played Diablo 2 or something like that. So to me, this is like a welcoming, not upgrade, but like welcome addition, right? And
Yeah, but it's not that I don't like magic. I don't know. It's just I felt like, okay, they had a lot of the units in the game, if not all, before the team got added. It was just like, okay, we need another team. We have these units. Okay, we call it elementals.
I suppose so.
You get 75 pixies. God damn.
Yeah, I mean that's what the
yeah.
Aurora Borealis,
Of course, but it's still a lot.
It is, but keep in mind,
Yeah, they die quickly and stuff, but still 75 in 1 week. But yeah, that's not what we were here to talk about.
All right.
You probably got more positive stuff to say than me. I don't know. It's a fine design. Pixies, it's an alright. I don't know. It's kind of a little girl with butterfly wings.
I mean, it's what's her name in English? The Peter Pan pixie thing.
Belle something.
Tinkerbell, right?
Yeah.
It's like that kind of design. Actually, wait, what came first, Peter Pan or Heroes?
Peter Pan definitely.
Did it? Yeah, it probably did.
Yeah, definitely.
They're both old anyway. Either way, like personally, I think I don't necessarily like the butterfly wings, but I do think they match well with this like sprite,
It's much better than if they had given like angel wings or something.
Yeah.
I'll give it that.
Yeah.
It does look good actually. I like it's very colorful and stuff, but it's just like a girl in a dress with butterfly wings. It feels like it feels like not a big threat, even though it is a level 1 unit, of course. But compared to like a fucking centaur or something, it's not intimidating.
To be fair though, well, I'll save this for another video. But it's a very strong level 1 unit though.
Yeah, definitely. The movement speed and stuff, can fuck you up.
Yeah, but the overall look, it's actually quite not appealing, but it's appeasing to look at. It's I'm not saying that the character is pretty or anything. You can't even see that many details, but it does have like a good look surrounding it.
I like the before it's upgraded actually better. Like the wings, the orange and stuff. It looks good, but yeah, actually, it's alright.
I like the upgraded version better actually.
I don't.
Anyway, so it's a pretty little pixie. It's take it how you will. I think that's about.
We're getting attacked by the pretty little pixies.
Yeah, there's 75 of them, man.
Yeah, true. That's a lot.
Okay.
If I got attacked by 75 girls, I would probably lose too.
I think I could handle them.
Yeah, 75 seems like a lot. But Storm Elemental, it's alright. It's alright.
Honestly, it's boring. It does what it's supposed to do, but the upgrade one is far better looking than the left one. This is a thing that I really like actually, because they've added a level of detail that the other creatures don't have. This is a storm elemental, right? It's not technically speaking tangible. You can't just touch it. It doesn't have like defined features. So it's a bit difficult to see the different shapes of it. I mean, you can tell that it has a torso and like a face and whatnot, and fingers on the unupgraded version. But the upgraded version, it's even more difficult to tell, and it's in a way it tells you that it's more like stormy. It's more.
Yeah, it even has lightning inside.
Yeah.
Yeah, but still, I feel like this is not the quality as many of the other teams. This is slower quality unit design.
Yeah. I think if the upgrade would have been kept the way it is, but the base version would have been toned down a little bit, maybe like change it to like a not less imposing creature, but thinned it down, make it more transparent or something like that, it would give the upgrade a bit more weight to it. But overall, I think the upgrade itself is bland, but, you know, yeah, they could definitely done a better job here.
Yeah, I don't approve of this.
To be fair though, the upgrade itself, I do like it. I just don't like the transition from base to upgrade. It looks like a color swap with you know, like a little bit of extra detail. So,
and again, another creature I don't really like. It's just an ugly nigga.
I do agree with you. I think
it's not ice. It looks like water. It does not look like ice.
No, I definitely agree with you. This looks like a water creature. This looks like some sort of ugly deep sea mermaid kind of thing.
Yeah. An ugly mermaid.
An ugly mermaid, or rather, you know, like not even a mermaid, just like a fish human, I suppose.
Yeah.
Because
kind of like a human mermaid.
Well, like, you know, it does. She doesn't have the whole, you know, human half, whatever.
She kind of does, but it's just not with the human skin. But she becomes humanoid half of her body.
Yeah, I know, but like not in the traditional mermaid way. Like she's not Ariel, for example.
And I hate it. The attack that she spins around and hits her tail. I think it's stupid.
Yeah, I do like the little ice things they fire off, though. It does look pretty cool.
It's alright, but I don't approve. I don't think it's I don't think it lives up to the quality of the rest.
No.
The factions.
I do agree with you. Okay, so first of all, scientifically speaking, fire becoming like a sort of plasma kind of makes sense if that's what they're going for. But I don't necessarily agree with the upgrade path. I would have preferred if the fire elemental just became like a bigger, better fire elemental. But I can see why they went with that one. It's just, you know, it's easier to spot the upgrade and things like that.
I actually think the fire elemental is pretty good looking. I don't like the energy as much, but I like the movement thing that he teleports in that way. That looks pretty cool.
Yeah. One thing I think they should be really commended for, though. The energy element has some amazing lighting details. Not lighting, but lighting.
The shadows and stuff, it looks pretty good.
The shadows look amazing on it, and I think that's just top-tier quality drawing.
But again, they could have done something that didn't just look like a naked man with electricity.
It is a little bit, you know, generic human. Oh, but it's a fire element, so okay, he's just being burned alive.
Yeah, exactly.
But he like both of them have pretty cool silhouettes if you were to take them in silhouette form. Like just the whole fire and energy thing. So I'm not opposed to them. I just don't think they should necessarily be, you know, an upgrade path to each other, but just separate creatures.
I like them better than all the ones we've been through so far in this faction. They're definitely better than the other three we've gone through.
Yeah. All right.
And again,
this one
boring.
This is
it's kind of like the golem I talked about on the snow base. I wanted I kind of wanted a golem like this instead of the ones they got.
Yeah, actually, if that clay golem, like if this earth elemental on the right side would have turned into a metal golem or iron golem as it's called, that would have been cool.
Yeah.
Personally, I'm not a big fan of like this is not enough of an upgrade. Like I think it's cool that it's glowing like a charcoal and whatnot, and you know it looks hot as fuck. But it doesn't have any steam. It doesn't have any smoke. It doesn't have anything else, like maybe light up the ice even more than just that small amount, things like that would have been really cool. But overall, I don't see the major difference. Like, why didn't the fire elemental turn into a magma element, or a magma element turning into a fire elemental, right? That would have made more sense. But yeah, I digress.
But it's a huge improvement over the clay golem.
It is, but it's not a clay golem. It's just a pile of earth.
Just for a golem, I like this way of doing it much better.
Yeah. It's definitely improvement. I still prefer it to be a bit more bulky and large, like a bit more rounded in it. Like, essentially speaking, I want it kind of fat, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I would prefer that to more beefy, but it's still more beefy than the clay golem. It's not as humanoid.
Oh no, this one would slap the shit out of of the golem, like the clay golem. Anyway,
at least it looks like it would.
Well, yeah.
This is alright too. I think that's pretty cool too.
They both look amazing. I don't know if they necessarily fit with each other.
I don't know if I would say amazing either, but they're pretty cool. They're like, whoa, what is this?
I mean, there's a few things I really like about this one. First of all, the overall like on the upgrade, the internal glow he has inside him, it looks really cool. Because he is supposed to be this magic element and whatnot. This is like what powers him on the inside. But another cool thing is when he dies, he's just like this helmet piece that's left, and that's so awesome.
Close on the ground. Yeah, that's great.
It's such a nice touch because they could have just, made him fall off and just that's where he is. He's dead over there now. But instead they actually give him like the almost
I feel
like a genie look.
He looks a little too much like a magician before the upgrade.
Yeah, I suppose he does. I do agree with you. But I don't know.
Yeah.
But
it's all right.
Yeah, go ahead.
I like when the different direction is instead of always just doing what you expect from a creature. I don't know if I've seen this. I kinda have, but it's an alright take on a creature.
Yeah. Alright. The last creature on the entire list, guys. This one, honestly, the base form is very underwhelming.
The base form looks fucking stupid.
It does. It does look like it has some sort of retardation going in its eyes
exactly.
or whatever.
The face expression when it's just standing, it looks so stupid.
It reminds me a little bit of Zazu from The Lion King, from the classic animation, not the 3D one.
Zazu?
Yeah, the bird guy.
Ah, yeah.
Like it has that snooty look or whatever.
It doesn't look well, but the upgrade with the flames is pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, obviously this is 2D animation, so I'm not surprised they could do that, but it looked very, very well. Like, it's just... Sometimes it looks like a clusterfuck when it fires its breath at you and whatnot. There's just so much fire going around. But it looks good, and the extra fire just makes the entire creature look more bulky and like more threatening, and I think that's cool.
Yeah, again, I don't really know what a Phoenix is doing on this team, but it's all right. It looks cool on the upgrade, and it's a nice touch. The Phoenix, and it gets to life after it dies and stuff. That's a nice touch.
Yep. Actually, that's a good point. The whole rebirth thing that it does, it's not technically an aesthetic choice in the sense that it's more a lore aspect tied into Phoenix. But I do like the whole, it comes, from the ashes, it like reburns itself back to life kind of thing.
It's another moment where like it's kind of expected because it's in the lore. But they might as well not have included it, but they still did, and I appreciate that.
Yeah. All right.
But, that was all the teams. I must say I'm surprised how much negative stuff I had to say, because when I think about the game, I always probably have the nostalgia goggles on, because I just think like, damn, it's so perfect. Every faction, I love it, and almost nothing to criticize, but there's a lot of nitpicking if you look at the individual elements.
So the thing is, you say that you have a lot of negative things to say, but this is all nitpicking. Like none of this is actually bad. Well, maybe a few designs, but that's about it, right? Like most of it is still either average or above average overall, and that's still quite good. This is it's a bit of a nitpick video, and we're doing it for fun and
Yeah,
to start
and huge
discussion.
love for the game. Of course, we both love the game.
We do. We have been playing it for so long, so it makes sense.
Yeah, it's our first video, for Christ's sake. It's because we got love for the game.
Anyway,
But yeah, it's like, again, if you look at it in the microscope, I feel like there's a lot of flaws. But if you just play it and look at big picture and don't overanalyze it, it's just like you don't see all the flaws. It just turns into this beautiful, almost painting that you're playing.
I agree, man. I definitely agree.
I'm so annoyed with the new versions of Heroes. I understand they had to go 3D with the graphics.
They didn't have to, though. It's not a requirement.
But maybe it kind of is in 2019. Yeah. I feel like they would get a lot of flack for doing a 2D game, but it just has a certain charm that you don't get with the 3D that gives this game so much appeal.
The thing is, we do have some ideas for future videos, guys. If you have any ideas, let us know in the comments and whatnot. Inspiration is good to have at any time, so just let us know. And
yeah.
I think that's it. I guess we'll see you next time.
Yeah, I guess so. The aesthetic of Heroes of Might and Magic
has been concluded.
Yeah, see you in the next one, guys.
Have fun.